I'm so near and yet so unknowing. Along here someplace there's a family of red ants, and I noticed them a few days ago, and I can't find their location. I was intrigued by them because of their difference to the normal ants we see. I'm just going to go over and back a little bit here with the hope I can find them so you can see them. I had the feeling they were around here. But I might be mistaken. I need to see a rock formation on the ground where there are a few stones together, very tight and big and solid, with a little opening. And that's where they're going in and out. Well, we'll just go back here another little bit here to see if we can find them. And then we have to go quite a ways further on to see a little bush that, or a plant, I'm not sure if it would be a bush. It's a little bushy plant that has tiny, tiny red flowers. So the big question right now is, who is your family? And who are your enemies? Hey, for you who are joining later, I'm looking for a little home of red ants. And I'm looking here in the ground for some major stone fixture, not the loose stones on the surface, where the ants are industriously providing for, I'm not sure if I should say for winter or for summer, but the winter in the very northern hemisphere is what we're going through here right now. It's a hard time for life with the heat. That's why we had such a beautiful red sunrise there, because of the intense heat this morning that we're going to have. These are some of our warmest days so far, over 40 degrees. Yesterday I had fun on Twitter with a lady in Ireland who posted how ridiculous the temperatures were, and she had a little screenshot of 26 degrees. Well, I'm pretty sure that it was in the other direction. It wasn't along here. I know that I saw lots of red ants, like lots scattered, and they're also at my feet right now, but not in the abundance where they're in a sense they're all over the place. But to find their little house, their little central bus station, we'll use that image rather than their major airports and their terrestrial creatures. So here we have the black ones like we had. We already got these ones, okay? Let me see if I can get this right here for you. There we go. So you can see intense traffic here on this main thoroughfare. I want to find a red one just like this. These are all the black ants. but there's no novelty there. So let's keep walking. Maybe we'll find another one as we go along. So today we're continuing with the Exodus in the incredibly dramatic story that has impressed probably billions by now, or surely billions, because even if people aren't practicing that much, they've heard the story of the Exodus, and we have about 1.25 billion Catholics in the world, and at the moment, and then another 1 billion Christians, and over 1 billion or 1.5 billion Muslims, and we have obviously the Jewish people, but the numbers then are much smaller. What is it, around 16 million worldwide. And then you have all the people of culture who aren't affiliated with these faith communities, but would know the story from a cultural point of view, since it's been dealt with in movies and literature, and it's an essential word in culture, exodus, to leave. I was very impressed when once on our way to retreat in Rome, the plane stopped in Athens, and on the freeways in Greece, every single exit is called Exodus. Obviously written in Greek letters. It was Greek to me. We just started identifying the letters and putting them together and say, oh, that's Exodus. That's what they call an exit on the freeway in Greece, Exodus. They probably pronounce it a little different than I'm saying. And we have odometer. That's about the measuring of the trip. So exodus, the trip out, the process of exiting. And actually the book is called the Book of Names in Hebrew, because it names all the tribes probably and the generations of people involved. It's interesting they don't call it Exodus in Hebrew. Might be an interesting topic to investigate sometime. Why it's called names. My eyes are still fixed on the path, so if you don't see the sunrise sometimes, it's because I'm looking for the red ants. So in this amazing drama, we see the tremendous fear we saw yesterday, and then the intervention, the divine intervention beyond human expectation, that the river would part, that a path would open up in the sea. And this becomes one of the great examples of God's omnipotence, all-powerful. Just in case we had any doubt, because if he creates the sun, which is 93 million miles away there, and right now it's relatively comfortable to be walking, whereas in 4 or 5 hours' time, you need to be properly covered and have plenty of water with you if you're going to go walking, because the intensity of the perspiration will require lots of replenishment and hydration. And he was able to make that sun, and the scientists tried to figure out how long ago that happened and how big the sun is, and it turns out that it's one of the smallest stars. And if we were to carry out all the water of the Sea of Galilee, we'd have quite a job to do. I can't believe it. I've missed the ants home. I'm almost sure it had to be the other side. Maybe we should keep walking here. I just felt it was along here someplace. But I obviously have my memory erased on that issue. And it was just a few days ago. But hopefully we'll find it. So probably the biggest truth of the reading today is that God takes care of us. In the most dramatic situations of our lives. And our enemies are definitively, completely wiped out. At least for now. Because premature celebration is precisely that. It's premature because our whole life is challenged and a struggle. And once we have been through one trial, now in God's view we're strengthened for the next trial. So, and we go from strength to strength as we go through trial to trial. There's obviously a bee colony here, an ant colony, because of all this tiny little pieces of plant material. It looks like what ants have around their homes. And then there's the big issue, what about the Egyptians? Doesn't God love them? So there are a lot of issues as we walk through the story of the scriptures, and there's a progressive revelation. And if we want to know the point about enemies, we actually have to finish up at Calvary. Because there's a huge lesson about who are our enemies there. And Christ is crucified, and he's crying out to his heavenly Father to forgive those who are crucifying him. So the Roman soldiers, in all the brutality of that moment, and the expressions of hatred and annihilation and extinction that accumulated to get to this point, that these people are being prayed for. These people are forgiven. Father, forgive them. So then who's our enemy? Who's our real enemy? And our real enemies are also within us. Tendencies that bring us down. Tendencies that bring down other human beings. It's an amazing thing in a forest fire, the animals have a ceasefire. They don't attack each other, even if they're natural enemies, because they're all in danger of extinction from the forest fire. And I saw that experience very clearly in 9/11 in New York, about the total breakdown of all social barriers. And everybody was one in concern and sympathy and sorrow in the face of that attack. And in a certain sense that has happened also through the experience of the lockdowns. One of the magnificent impressions that has emerged in our world is how we're all in this together. We're all affected by it. We're all conditioned by it. And we all have to work together to overcome it. So who's our enemy? And the teaching today of Jesus is very, very powerful in this regard. who are our family? Because family is, let's say, the basic unit, and you look out for your family. That's the basic social unit. Your mom, your dad, your siblings, your children. I'm sorry about not finding the red ants. I really forgotten. I'll have to put up a marker. A stele from ancient times. Here is the red ant house. So maybe we have some people labeled today as enemies. The horrible thing of labeling people as enemies when they're my friends in trouble. The trouble of anger, the trouble of hatred, the trouble of violence. Hey, this is an interesting phenomenon. Look at here, I'm not sure if it was the wild boar. Here we have these two bulbs, and they'd normally be underground, and they're going to blossom and bloom at the rains that will come. You have to survive being exposed here. So maybe we'll just cover them up. But I don't know how successful I'll be, because with the wind and the rain, with the wind and the wind and the wind, and blow away lots of stuff, and maybe an animal will expose them again, but at least they're covered for now. So there's a lot to chew on. Oh, now I got the plants I want to show you. I was going to call it a day, or call it a morning. But here I've arrived at these plants. Let me see if I find ones in bloom. There are these green ones here. And they were filled for the last month. And many times I wanted to focus on them. And some days I forgot as I walked by. And other days we already had finished. I think the red flowers are done. Maybe there's little traces of them there that are brown now. But they were the tiniest flowers. I think what we're seeing now is the fruit of the flower, maybe. Yeah, it looks like a fruit. The fruit of the flower. They all have that little hooked shape on the top of them. Here there are lots of them. These are all just brilliant red flowers, but they were so small, almost microscopic. Amazing, the variety of fauna, of flora here on Mount Arbel, with its varied climate. So at least we pointed out the plants. Maybe somebody knows their name. But I don't see a single red flower anywhere. And even the last time I was through here, I thought I saw some a few days ago, but they're done now apparently. So people, look, let's say goodbye at this point. There's a lot to chew on from our conversation this morning. God bless you. See you later. I turned my head on upside down. God bless you.